Hello everybody from around the world. Welcome to another Monday and of course another Monday market open for the stock markets. It's pretty much going to be another very interesting week as it's been since pretty much the US election and even the whole year. And I tell you what, I'm pretty pumped to go through some stuff today. We've seen some big moves in a few stocks. We've obviously seen some big moves in some currencies. And we've seen some big moves in things like the US dollar and of course cryptos as well. So things are heating up, even in escalations going on here in Australia. There's a lot of things going on. Let's just quickly give a shout out to everyone in the community. We've got Siddharth, we've got Bloodbath, Yogendra, Faye, Dave G, Buzzblads, always great to see you here. Johnny Bravo. Who else have we got? Sandollar77 already coming in with US $4 donation for a coffee. Thank you very much, Sandollar. So a lot of people joining us today, and I think there's quite a lot of things to talk about and a lot of interesting opportunities for the week ahead, which is obviously what we're all looking for. So let's just quickly do a recap of what's going on in the markets right now. A slight increase in the volatility index over here. This is finviz.com. If you're a new viewer, finviz.com is a great free resource. We'll have a list of new free resources as well, thanks to some of you, the members of the community, for sending those out. And we'll be going through some of those over the next coming weeks. So there's a whole bunch of new free resources that I've been given from a few people, and I'm checking them out right now. And we should have a comprehensive list of those next week. Dow Jones, S&P, Nasdaq, flat to down a little bit. The actual one that's down the most is probably the ASX 200, so the Australian stock market. If we actually load that up right now, you'll see that it's pretty much the one that's struggling the most. Little bit of recovery. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see further declines here. It's really looking like we're having a rising war of words between China and Australia here. And I don't think that ends well for Australian companies. I mean, they're already putting the pressure on things like Treasury Wines and a few others as well. Be very careful here in the Australian market. We're starting something that I think is not necessarily a smart move right now during a potential crisis period. Let's go back over to some questions that are coming in. We've got a few people. You have someone here, Yangling. Lee says, hi Tam, can you please talk about ASX 200? Well, why don't we start there today and then we'll get into the US market. We'll get into some stocks there. But I think that this is not looking so good. So as I mentioned, look, I'm not surprised it stopped here. 6,500, we've got a bit of a zone there. We've got some resistance, we've got some support, some resistance, and then, of course, it's found the bounce there. Do I think this holds, though? I don't think so. I think it could go further down. Let's talk about from a structure perspective and go over just to a line chart quickly. What have we got here? We've got a peak, we've got a trough, we've got a lower peak, and, of course, a confirmed lower trough. Is this on a significant time frame? I think 4 hours is pretty significant. We will be dictated to by the American market, to a degree. But we've obviously got some negative things coming out. Now, if anyone checked Bloomberg today, you notice the top 3 stories were all about Australia trying to trade tensions. That's literally the top 3 stories. That's what they're all about. That's how significant it is. Look up TWE if you want to see what can happen to a stock when basically tariffs hit it. Treasury Wine Estates, very, very brutal there. What's going on with that stock and for stockholders. So I think that now we've got the 20 moving average and the 50 exponential moving average underneath price on the 4 hour. Let's have a look at the daily as well. You can see here the daily still got some room to come down to the 20. But look, what's going to hold this ASX 200? I've mentioned it many times. It became very hot, very, very hot. Our market recovered all the way to 67, found the resistance, which was, of course, the support previously. There's the resistance. And now we're going to come down. We expect probably the 6,500 to remain a decent buy zone. But then underneath that, we've got this 6,250, kind of 6,200 zone. This is the area where if we do see a decline in the US market this week, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see the Australian market hit this level. And if it does hit this level, will there be buying pressure? Technical analysis, statistics, all of those types of things would make you think, yes, there would be pressure. And you've got really 2 choices here, just a bit of a learning thing. Whenever you see kind of like, let's say it falls really quickly. Let's say it goes bang, 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 really quickly down here. We know bear markets are fast. Do you just buy this zone blindly? We certainly can, because you can say, well, I like the zone, I've done enough analysis, blah, and everything else. But you can also wait for the lightning bolt. You can also wait for a double bottom. You can also wait for bullish hammers, engulfing candles on significant time frames, all of these types of technical analysis, if you wait for these predominantly, it means you get not the best price, but you also don't catch the falling knife. And we've seen the falling knife be caught a few times. Gold, for example, which we'll be looking through a little bit later. Look at gold's price right now, guys. $17.71. So be careful when things come down. I think this is a pretty solid level. Remember, investing and trading are different things. Trading, you want to be in and out over a few days, if not a few months. Investing, you might be holding it for 10 years. It's a different trade mentality. Let's go back over to the room here and just answer a few of these questions. Remember, if you have questions, ask them throughout the session. Ask them throughout this live session. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. And then, of course, whatever question you have, most likely other people have. A few people talking about weed stocks. Obviously, those stocks are doing pretty well. They're the type of ones that run very hard. They have 100, 200, 300% gains. And then, of course, they're not usually based too much on, at this time, fundamentals. They're based on the idea that they're going to be worth more in the future. All right, we'll just go through some of these other questions. We're just catching up right now. All right, Lonnie would like to look at Amazon. We'll definitely check that out. So for all Australian kind of ASX traders out there, could there be more pressure? Well, we know that we've had Thanksgiving in America. We obviously know that that's usually a positive week, but what happens the week after? Let's have a look at the SPX right now. And actually, I think we will load up probably maybe just a single market here. Let's load up the US 500 actually, because we've got some trade on that. So we've hit the resistance a few times. This 3650 area has acted as some form of resistance. We'll go to the 4 hour and we'll have a look at this zone. Now, are we getting any ideas of a strong level of support or a strong level of resistance? We do know around this 50 on the 4 hour, there was some chop, but I don't think that's strong enough. There's no real technical that I go, yes, that's great. What I'm really looking for here is I want to see whether this 3550 holds. I would not be surprised at all to see a market down here at some point this week. Whether it's today, whether it's Tuesday, whether it's Wednesday, we probably are due for a little decline before breaking up. Why is that? It's kind of the nature of the markets. You'll notice it stops here almost all the time on the 4 hour. That's why I'm looking at this level as a strong level of resistance. We've got some sell-off in the futures, probably based on that kind of Australia-China news a little bit. Do we get a further decline? 35.60, no support found there. Obviously, 35.20 is what you want to set your alerts for this week. And underneath that zone, we trigger a lot of selling. So for the bulls, you want it to hold above this level. This 35.20 must be held as support. For the bears, of course, you need it to turn down now. If it gets through here and closes a daily above here, what's going to happen? Move up, pull back, further slingshot, most likely Christmas rush into the end of the year. The critical zones are what you're looking for in TA. That's the most important thing. Critical zones. $7 says, Tom, possible for potential in energy stocks this week. We'll certainly be looking at energy stocks, $7. I've written that down as well. So we're obviously taking some big stocks. If you have big stocks you would like to look at, yes, we'll definitely, Tommaso, yes, we'll look at NEO and NVIDIA. No worries. So they're big stocks. We like looking at those ones together. Absolutely, we'll check those out. Thank you very much as well to everybody out there that's joining us on this Monday morning. It's been great weather here in Australia. I hope everyone had a good weekend and has enjoyed some of these Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. Yes, we do have a Cyber Monday sale. A lot of the YouTube subscribers don't know, but we do have a technical analysis course. If you enjoy some of our stuff, you can definitely check it out. I think someone's posted the link in the chat. We've got 50% off at the moment, which is pretty good, I think. So if you're interested in joining the private community as well, quick plug for that. I don't do it very much on this channel, but why not get into the festivities of course, Black Friday into Cyber Monday. And you got Nicola as well. I haven't heard that one in a while. Check that one up. We'll check out Nicola. And we'll do Facebook. No worries there, Kim. Household Dog says, if it goes to 35.60, would that form a wonky double top, putting more bearish pressure on it? So really the 35.60, let's just zoom in here. Obviously we've got price. 35.60 is really around here, 35.60. Yeah, look, what the story for the double top or the triple top or whatever you want to call it is that we had that crazy day over here. We all remember that we were actually live streaming on this day. It went crazy during the futures, pre-market was nuts, and then of course sold off. I'm going to call that an anomaly candle. So sometimes these candles, I don't pay as much attention to them because I understand what happened on that day. I actually note them down. Maybe a top tip for you. If you've noticed something like, let's say it's a US election day, the market goes crazy up, crazy down, crazy all around, ends with giant wicks. You could just call that noise because it's really just a whole bunch of random trading. I like to look at market structure. As price action based traders, what are we looking for? Structure is key. So I'm looking more at paying attention to this side. And you're right, yes, you could call this a peak, you could call this an equal peak, and then of course if it declines here, gets under this zone, some people call that double top. Here's the problem with that. We have structure right here at 35.20. And therefore, because we have structure here, what's going to happen? It could sell off, come down. You think it's a double top. You're thinking it's going this distance. It stops here and then goes up and you get stuffed over. You don't want that to happen to you. So what I'm looking at more is I'm looking at the 35.20 area as being just, you can't actually really dispute that zone. What's going to be there? It's going to be a 50 exponential on the daily here. That will be around that area if it does come down, because remember, it's a lagging indicator. It'll be still going up or smoothing off as it comes in. And then if it gets through that zone, yes, there's a lot of free fillable space underneath that. We'll talk about the dollar index in just a minute. You'll see the exact same thing. Let's have a look at the dollar index. Check out this dollar index. Look at the fill area that could happen after it closed under that 92. Do we see US dollar continue to weaken? Well, there's two things that I've said here about this one. One, we did have one false break on the weekly. Okay, so what I would do if I saw that false break on the false break on the weekly, I'd check the monthly. What day are we on? 30th of November. Actually, my birthday, by the way. Very lucky, guys. I almost didn't stream tonight. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stream my birthday, but I did. But yeah, over here, the body close was not underneath on the monthly. So what happens if we get a monthly close under the 92? I mean, for a lot of technical analysis or analysts out there, this is going to be a very key level. This is going to be a very key close. Remember, the monthly is the most important candle. Truly it is. The next one is going to be the weekly, and then of course the daily. That's where Wall Street, that's where the big players really play. They don't play on the 5 minute, 1 minute, although a lot of Forex currency traders would like to think so. They play on this bigger time frame. Thanks very much everyone that's going through with the birthday. yeah. I'm getting there, but thanks very much. So the monthly closes down here, gives us the confirmation. And that's going to be a very big flow-on effect for positions. You're going to see options expiring. You're going to see people placing bets based on this. Monthlies don't often lie. The weeklies can, the dailies can, but the monthlies don't. You'll see resistances on the monthlies are often very key as well and very, very good levels. So I'm looking at the dollar index today. We've almost got this 2050 cross coming through as well. And then if it comes back up, then we get down. All of a sudden, we kind of gap fill to 89. There's a lot of free structure space there. That's important to think about. I pay a lot of attention to that. Buzzblad's coming in with Australian at $10. Gold, where is the floor? All right, Buzz, we are talking about gold. Don't worry. I was going to do it anyway, but thank you very much for the $10, mate. Appreciate that. Johnny Bravo says he likes Dividend Cake's name. So we'll certainly be looking at that one. So dollar index, monthly, very important zone. Go through the weekly. Okay, yes, we've got the close below. Go through the daily. What's been happening on the daily? Does anyone tell me? I'm going to leave it on this screen. I'm going to point to something maybe in a few seconds to give you a hint. Can anyone that's been watching our stream for a long time tell us what do we kind of like as a reoccurring thing or theme on the dollar index right now? I'll give you a hint. It's got to do with an indicator, and there isn't many indicators on there. So we'll go through some other questions while you guys answer that one. Zalef says, I've currently exited cruise lines after some gains. What do you think of short-term outlook for RCL and CCL? So I think they are both cruise lines, but we'll definitely check them out. So RCL and CCL. We'll check them out a little bit later as well, Zalef. No worries. Coming through here, thank you very much again for all of the happy birthday. $77 coming in with $20. $7, I don't think I've ever seen over the $4. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. I guess that's for my birthday. Thanks, buddy. Touching the 20 EMA, yes, absolutely. 20, a few people saying that. Absolutely. So if you ever have like a favorite moving average, what you use with moving averages is it's not just as simple as saying, okay, moving average 20 is great. It's about recognizing a pattern. And as you know, I like the 1 and the 2. Why do I like that? Because then what you're doing is you're using statistics to say, okay, these levels have been reached before. That means that if it reaches it again, imagine if it came back up and it's like hitting around like a 92, 92.20, and then it hits this 20 moving average. Is there going to be bear pressure at that point? Based on the 1, based on the 2, based on this kind of pattern that's occurring, it's more likely to occur. You're stacking the probabilities, stacking the statistics in your favor. So it's that 20 moving average that's going to be coming down, intersecting with the same price that would be powerful there. So yeah, very important day here for the dollar index, 91.62. I know we're spending some time on it because this does move a lot of currencies. It moves a whole bunch of other things as well. Thank you very much, Yogendra. Appreciate that. Yeah, perfect. A few people called the 20, so that's great. Let's take a look at gold here and talk about where the floor is. So we've got the support here at 1850. Obviously, we saw that break. We kind of knew that the next level was going to be 1800 based on previous market structure, based on also another moving average that was coming through on that point. Then when it broke through there, the next level was going to be always around the 1750, 1760 zone. Now, if you add another moving average on, and we'll do that right now, let's add on a moving average. So we'll add a normal moving average. Fix this one up together. So this is going to be a simple moving average. Wait, where am I? Need to get that one. There we go. Simple moving average. I like to make my one green for this one. No apparent reason, but I'll go green. And of course, 200. And we always want to go with the close on these simple moving averages. So we'll go simple, go here to the weekly. And you'll notice that basically, well, you're not going to hit the 200 here, but you're going to hit the 50. Notice how the 50's been reached. Same lesson that we had before. 50 moving average, found support, bounced off. 50 moving average, it got through a little bit, found support, and bounced off. Is this the bottom of gold? Makes some sense that you would think that there's market structure being resistance around here. We've got a weakening US dollar, which technically should mean gold's going up, and we're hitting a very key kind of pullback in the market. So what do you wait for next? Well, you have to wait for probably some kind of turnaround here. You don't want to catch the falling knife because it's going down quite fast. Ideally, you pick it up where it basically goes and does something like this on a smaller time frame, the lightning bolt effect, again, the double bottom effect, again, the engulfing candle, etc. So gold should be at a point very, very soon within $10 range of hitting some serious market structure support. We should be getting a very clear level through here. And I'm going to put my little horizontal line across all of these previous resistances, and that's right around that 1745, but we could see there on the weekly that it's already hit the 50. Last time, slightly through. This time, will it just bounce off that level? That's, of course, for you to determine on the smaller time frames, but there was quite a little bit of a wick through. It's Monday, remember, as well. Monday is notoriously a scary day of trade in commodities. We'll definitely be looking at that as well, Karina. So we'll write that one down. So we've got quite a few things to look at today together. And I think there's a lot of learning things. But notice how we use the same technique on two. We use the same technique on the US dollar, and we use the same technique on gold. We're using a moving average style kind of setup. And what I like to do is moving average. Well, usually it's price action, trend, that kind of thing. But if you're trying to pick levels that are going to fill to, look for moving averages and look for market structure. That's always going to be your best. Let's go through this quick learning curve as well. We've got here on the euro yen. So this is one that I drew up this morning. Where's my, I think I had a snag of it. So here's a snag here of the euro that I took this morning. And basically this level here is a close above this zone. I said was basically significant, would open up the 125. As soon as you get that, you're going to push a huge amount of money through, and a close below this zone would of course be a little double top and rejection. They're really your two key areas. Everything in between there I consider noise. Let's have a look at the euro yen 4 hour then. So we had what a lot of people would call a bearish candle. Notice also, let's zoom this in. Look at this. Look at this nasty trap. Remember, I hate shooting stars and hammers right now because there's so much traps for the retail community. Look at this. Look how far down that went. What, 1 pip, 2 pips underneath? Very terrible kind of follow through there. It's why you should use a percentage of this candle if you're going to short it off that zone. Is there resistance here? Yes. Is that a bearish candle? Yes. Is it good enough? I don't think so. It needs follow on. So when you get, of course, your bullish close above there, bang, you get that slingshot effect very, very quickly, and it goes straight up to just under the 125. Look at that, 124.97.96. Very key little area. We see that it struggled above there last time, so that's why we knew that would be a good take, and you take it a few pips before. So just a bit of a lesson. This is often a fake kind of signal right now. It's happening a lot in stocks, it's happening in currencies and commodities. Household Dog says gold is dumping partly because of option expirations. See what happens next Wednesday. Absolutely, Household. So you've got a mixture of options expiries, a mixture of money that was speculating on gold going into cryptocurrencies. I truly believe that is a thing. We'll talk about cryptocurrencies very, very soon. And a few other things as well. Like you've got just a huge amount of, I guess, manipulation in that particular commodity as well. Yeah, so euro yen was a very interesting one. It was a clear case of when you got that kind of close above here, you're going to get very close to the 125. That slingshot effect. If you see this on a bigger time frame and you're a scalper, guess what you can do? You can jump into your 5-minute charts, jump into your 1-minute charts, and look for your opportunity. Why can't you? You've made a good decision on a bigger time frame. You know there should be a further slingshot effect, so you can basically get in on your smaller time frames. That's why I always say top down is going to be a biggest thing. You know, I've scalped quite a lot over the years, and I don't like it because it's too time intensive. And you'll find that when you're in the game for a long period, you don't have enough time, but or you get bored of doing it that way. But yeah, that's one of the ways you can do things. All right, so let's just quickly talk about the broad markets again. So here's some interesting things. We've obviously got a widening stock market rally, which means that it's not just technology stocks. We've been talking about this a lot on the channel recently. What that means is it's a more healthy kind of market. Now we have that, I think it's like the CNN fear greed index. Remember, it doesn't matter. This is just stats. And that shows market breadth, all of those types of things. We can also see put call ratios, all these other ones coming in, and we've got an oscillator. Now, what's interesting about this oscillator, check out the reading I saw today on this. Wow. Look at that reading. That reading is huge. So this reading is taking into account all of these different things. Put call options, safe haven demand, stock price strength, breadth, which is healthier. Absolutely, it's healthier. Market momentum, junk bond demand, market volatility. And that oscillator is very high right now. In fact, look at that. Very high before the crash, almost kind of nudging that really high point again. This is so high that hasn't been this high in ages. it actually hit my alert and I was like, wow, okay, we're over 80. Extreme greed from all these functions. Very, very interesting. Coming into what probably is going to be more of a likely week, kind of, I guess, week before Christmas rush. Stats would say that Christmas rush is going to be real, but remember, we do need stimulus as well. All right, so before we go into other stocks, let's talk a little bit about what a lot of people have been interested in, cryptocurrencies. Beautiful technicals in the cryptocurrencies recently. We had the double bottom in Bitcoin. We called this, we talked about it. We had the close. This is your buy signal for the aggressive trades. Very, very nice close, body close above the wick, just like that euro yen. It's the same thing on repeat, yeah? It's always the same concepts, really. Beautiful trade, moving up, hit that kind of first level. It's just continued its bullish move. Where to now for Bitcoin? Well, you would think that based on these kind of usual pullbacks and moves, let's have a look at some previous crashes. So some previous flashes. What happens in previous flashes? I'm not interested in these previous flashes. Why is that? Because I believe we're back into 2017. So let's have a look. We got a flash, we get a pull up, slight bit of sell off on the peak, and then a new high. Okay. We get a little bit of a flash here because remember that was still a percentage discount. It comes up, coils above, and then moves to the next move. And then we had the flash and then the test of the high. So I don't think that we're in this scenario yet in terms of these years. Let's go back over into 2017 fully. There we go. Okay, so this is where the hype train really began. Flash, followed by peak, resistance, a little bit of consolidation, coiling, and then new highs. Again, bit of a flash, new highs. Flash, very quick pickup. This is the type of market I feel like we're in right now. This kind of one here, where it flash crashes, comes up, makes a new high, coils. So if we see a coil, that will be very key, and then makes and moves on to the next level. Do we see that again? Right now, it looks very, very similar. 1, 2, 3 kind of down, 1, 2, 3 up right now. We'll probably at least go test the 19.5, you would think, or around that level, and then probably find a little bit of resistance, some selling pressure, comes up, possibly coils. Now, if it coils just under 20,000, that's the key. That's the best point. Coiling under 20,000, it will just blow 20K out of the water if that happens. So if you get tons of coil underneath before it hits 20, it doesn't just stop at 20, it just goes bang straight through it. Kind of similar to what Tesla's done as well. Did Tesla care about the recent high? No. When it came through, it just took it out. So remember, coiling below 20, let's say $200-300 below 20 is actually going to be pretty interesting point. So Bitcoin looks great. Ethereum, I would argue even better trading on Ethereum. Really good trading on Ethereum. These have actually been the most interesting areas. They're more interesting than stock right now. Beautiful zone, beautiful buy off the 480, previous resistance all the way through there. Go check your other timeframes on the 2 hour here. Again, beautiful market structure. Comes up, retests, conservative entry, engulf candle off that. What a great zone. Amazing area. Very confident at this zone we're going to go back up. And really a target was probably the 580 for the short-term trade. Hits the 580 and now it just continues to go. But this little area in here was statistically likely. Johnny Bravo says, scalped a bit of BTC over the weekend. Bored trading. Were you bored in general of other things, Johnny, and you just thought that was the best or something else? Yeah, this was a sick, these have been great areas. I've been really excited about this. This was just awesome. Like, I'm very, very impressed with the technicals here. XRP, another one. Very cool. Break close above previous resistance. Resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 all the way through. And then, of course, now we're getting a super coil. What do we know happens with XRP? When it does its little crazy coils, here's an ascending triangle on the smaller time frames. When it coils like a madman, then it blows up and goes nuts when it comes out. Of course, either side, but we've got a very clear 65 double resistance kind of wick. We're coiling in this little channel here on the 1 hour now. I'm very interested to see a close above here. If that happens, the FOMO will be real, like every other time with XRP, you would think. Back to 75? Well, that's obviously the question mark, but seems quite likely if it can crack up above there. Thanks very much for all the subscriptions as well. Quite a few new people in here. Great to see. Thank you for joining the FX Evolution community. $77 says, Tom, thank you for your last week's Bitcoin video. Very helpful analysis and information. Sandal, this is the easiest market ever to trade on pullbacks when you see these kind of beautiful setups. I actually thought this year we would see a double bottom in the S&P. I really did. I thought we would do it because it's done it almost every other crash. This time it didn't do it. That's what had a lot of experts going and kind of like questioning what the hell was going on. Because you go back through history and you go back to, you know, big kind of crash offs, you often get a beautiful market structure here. Look at this big kind of sell off here. You get this beautiful market structure. Here, you get a drop followed by an extreme kind of drop. Beautiful market structure. This is actually a little inverse head and shoulders. Got your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and then it goes very strong after that. Easy technical trading. Most other declines, you get very strong kind of resistance points. Bitcoin just gave you an amazing level. This thing is just a V-shaped madness. Look at this. Woo! That's crazy. That's like a normal kind of flash crash, not a crisis period. So that's why a lot of people were like, wow, this levels so don't make so much sense, because during normal times you can have these V shapes. This is just trade tensions followed by non-trade tensions. That's normal, but you often also get these little double bottoms with the test. And the second one often, you know, a quick hint for everyone. You get that wick that goes underneath, takes out all the stops, and then comes back even stronger. May not seem like it, but if that happens and then it wicks back, that is a classic giant stop hunt of fear. And when it comes back after that and it starts slingshotting through, it's going to make new all-time highs. Because this particular thing is a classic Wall Street move where they just basically nick everyone's cash. I might have missed something here. It looks like Matthew Tainch says, love your work, Tom, Australian $5. Thank you very much, Matthew. Appreciate your support of the community. I mean, it's been awesome recently. So thank you very much, Matthew. So a couple of little tips there today. I think we've got some birthday cheers. So I think there's quite a few good things we can learn there. Bloodbath McGrath. Making some big bold calls, it seems. Yeah, look, certainly could be. I think with Ethereum, look, we've kind of been talking about 800 is probably going to be the main first level or zone. 800 because the previous resistance, these key areas are very, very important. You know, 1400, it did happen. It could happen certainly again, but 800, you would expect some kind of resistance up. Anyway, enough on those. We've talked about gold. We've talked about dollar index. We'll talk about silver. Silver coming back down to a very key level of support, similar to when gold did its thing as well. You can see there's some previous market structure all the way along 21. So let's say silver continued to go down. I'm still quite a bull on silver for the next little bit. So I'm actually still a bull on silver over the longer term. I was bearish for a little while when it got crazy and everyone was going silver $60 or whatever. I don't think silver's going $60. But look at the last time, the GFC, the pickup, the kind of wild moves that did happen during that, and then of course that incredible run up to almost $50 for the bar. So here we've got basically a very key critical zone for silver. We need it to hold this 22-21 range. Certainly worthwhile setting up your alerts here. And it's coming down, but you know, we want to see again a turnaround. We want to see little pickups here of lightning bolts, double bottoms, etc. That kind of thing. We need to see market structure come along with silver. It's going to be a tough trade, I think, for the next couple of weeks. Let's have a quick look at 3-month performance in the stock market as well. So still really the tech stocks have not recovered that well. We've got Microsoft still down, Apple, Amazon, Facebook. Always worthwhile if you're a stock investor to have like a heat screen, to have Coifin.com, free, great service, and to be able to recognize the different sectors. Now, we had a question from Sandola before about energy, which we'll be taking a look at the actual sector itself and seeing whether there's more room to grow there. But you'll notice all of the really hot stocks, being these big tech ones, other than Google, which did lag admittedly before that, have come back down to earth a little bit. Now, Amazon's still high, so is Microsoft, so is Apple, but they have certainly come down a little bit, especially Apple. That was probably the one that's not really gone nuts in the last couple of months. So always worthwhile looking at your 3-month, your 6-month to get a bit of an idea of what's going on in the market. And sometimes you can just do this. And one that came to me this year was Berkshire. During the crisis, Berkshire Hathaway went really low. I'm not interested personally in banks that much, though there has been some opportunity recently. Like Wells Fargo, I'm terrified of that bank, I'll admit it. But some things to me, like Exxon, did interest me when it was really low, and there were a whole bunch of other sectors, so worthwhile checking these out. To give you an idea of the last week of kind of what's been going on in the markets, we can see here the energy sector did very, very well. And I still have my concerns over XLY, maybe wrongly, maybe correctly. This is taken from Coifin, which is a free service, definitely worth checking out. And the real estate was the weakest sector. And again, tech was, it was up, but not crazily up. XLF being the financials up next to it. So we'll take a look at those. Some other questions coming in here. Pavel, thank you very much. Sandola says Wells Fargo is a DAWG. Arf. Yeah, it's one of those ones that kind of reminds me of General, is it GE or something like that? Yeah, not one that I'd be very interested in. All right, let's go over to some stocks here. So we've got some requests coming in from the community. I like to start in Tesla just because I feel like it, and this particular one here, 601 pre-market, 2.6% up. Wow. So we did talk about this quite a lot. The key level for us for the bulls and the clear crazy bull move that was going to happen after that was this 462, 463 zone. We get our close above there, and really it's just been blue skies ahead, or green in terms of profit. The previous resistance was never going to phase it. Why was that? Well, if we go down to the smaller time frames, you'll actually see, although this doesn't look like any kind of coil, there is a small pullback for Tesla. It hits the level, it does a small pullback, and then just goes bang, straight through. It didn't really care about this level, and it was never going to. All of the market structure, in terms of the resistances, were just below it. Usually when it breaks a just below market structure, it doesn't care about this. This doesn't matter that much. It goes to the next zone. Now we've hit the 600. Do we think that's enough for Tesla? I would think there is selling pressure here. So we knew that the Tesla would probably go against the market, would do whatever it felt like, really. Does that mean it goes down long term? I don't know. But definitely 600, you would expect some kind of pressure to start coming into this stock here. So it did get upgraded. It got all of those supposedly great, good bits of news. But at this stage, it's moved pretty heavily. There will be probably some profit taking. We'll be watching this one throughout today's session. I'm going to watch this Tesla. I'm going to watch it throughout the session. There's no clear signs it's going down or anything unless you look at indicators. And I'm sure many indicators show overbought. Don't look at those too much. But yeah, Tesla's very, very interesting there. Let's have a look now at Amazon. So we got a request from Amazon before. Definitely check that one out. We'll go here to one of our favorite timeframes being the daily. So we talked about the 3,000 quite a lot and the 2,950 being the major buy zones. Now this is an interesting little area here. Amazon has closed above this 3,188, 3,200 zone. Now there's so much noise in this chart. Do we think this chart's easy to read? Not really. It's pretty crazy. There's clearly some weird resistances around here, but we're interested in statistics. How do we figure out what's going on here? There's no clear path to me. So is Amazon cheap? Not really. Is Amazon expensive? Well, it's been 3,500 before. So yes, this is, in terms of previous little move, a little resistance kind of break, but I don't like enough structure in here. So for me, it's probably a leave it. And if you're really interested in trading it, you would have to go down to the really small time frames and say, okay, well, I'm interested in this zone because I see a resistance. The resistance is broken. The resistance is found. Coils underneath, breaks out, and then comes back down and finds some support. I don't believe this is a high enough statistical kind of area. But yeah, Amazon's stuck within a range. I would be still looking at the 3,029.50 on the support. And then on the buy side, if you're investing in it, you could do it when you feel like it and obviously with your plan. But in this case, very, very tough zone. Not much I can look at there. Or at least not for me anyway. Neo is the enigma. It doesn't stop. Very heavy 20 exponential buy zone here. It's actually gone so hyperactive now that it doesn't even care about the 20. The 20 was our buy area for quite a while. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite a few reloads. It hasn't even pulled back to one yet. Today, we might get down there again. So we might get back to this kind of 20 again and probably find some buying pressure. For Neo, it's basically ride it until it gets absolutely stonked. This one here will get stonked. It'll have a monster blow off. I'm pretty sure of that. We will continue to follow it. Why? Because it is going crazy vertical. Look at these monthlies. This is crazy vertical. At some point, you get blow off in these types of stocks. And the more they get aggressive, as in go to the daily. So see here, we have that 20. This is a great sign. So if you want to know when a blow off occurs, what will always happen is it will accelerate away from, let's call it the mean reversion. So just throughout this whole trend, we get a huge amount of buying pressure coming off the 20. Then all of a sudden it goes, no. We are so FOMO out of control that we're going to push away from our normal pullback and go to even smaller time frames. So you go to a smaller time frame here, maybe a 4 hour, that becomes the 20. All of a sudden, this is the buy zone that you want to be buying every single time. Then it might go to a 1 hour 20 and go crazy. And if that happens, blow off is occurring. So there might be a little bit more room here in Neo before it comes down, but it's ride it and then have a plan, have a strategy. Gravity Falls coming in with $5. Thank you very much, Gravity. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Hey, Arnold wants me to check a stock. We'll see if we can do that a little bit later. CRWD. Can we look at Barber? Yes, we will do that, Lewis. No worries. Barber is a big stock, so we like to look at that one. Very cool. Virgin Galactic last stream from LiQWYD SPCE. Wow. That's an interesting stock. Could you please take a quick look? Okay, because you asked last time as well, and I think I remember it. We'll have a look at this SPCE. This stock, I don't know too much about it, so I can't comment on it other than just the TA. Obviously, another aggressive kind of run on it. Big break here of previous resistance, which is strong. We know that before the crisis, it was getting kind of crazy. So it was getting up there to the 42 kind of range. This is one of those ones, again, that you're really looking for. Moving average, kind of pullbacks, etc. Try to find some type of reoccurring event. So we've got 2 touches of the 20 so far that have been touched. This is just the 1 hour we've had to go down to for that. So you got 2 touches. That's all we've got. Maybe a third touch could be some kind of support as well for that if you're trying to enter it. Where does it go to? Well, now that it's broken through, you would think it continues on to potentially go and test 36. Notice, though, that it gaps up and then sells off. Not a strong sign. Should be gapping up and holding that close. So today, watch the close. If we get sell-off pressure, comes back down to here again, and it gaps up and closes down, that is sellers coming in. People with basically taking profit. So remember, pay attention to these types of candles on the daily. It gapped up for some reason, failed to hold it. If it does it again, fails to hold it, that's bad. If it does it again, it's going to always usually sell off. Obviously, Lavina, CHF, $5. Thank you very much, Lavina. Appreciate that. That's a good lesson. So thank you very much for bringing this one. Gap, close down. Gap, close down. Usually a 3 of that is bad. Bad. You can go check that one out yourself over time as well. NKE, we'll check that one out. Past 6731 says Tesla past 600. Yeah, I've got it setting at 602 at the moment. And we've got Apple request here as well. We'll look at that. So so far we've gone through Amazon. We've gone through a little bit of Tesla, gold. We've done some NEO. We've got here some other kind of requests. So we'll check them out as well. Good learning, I think, in a lot of these as well. A lot of these stocks. There's some really cool like setups that I've learned over the years that seem to happen statistically quite a lot. So Nvidia starting to struggle up here. Don't know if anyone knows much about these AMD cards, but the AMD cards look pretty solid as well. Nvidia's got some supply kind of problems as well for demand, which is not going to be good on their balance sheet. I'm sure they're still pumping out huge quantity, but they could be selling a lot more. The question is now, can AMD pump out enough cards? Can they deal with also the constraint problems? So Nvidia, it's all about the 20. It hasn't come back to the 20 here for quite some time. There's a lot of market structure through this as well. Let's go down to the daily. Pretty choppy in this one. I'd be probably just drawing up this line here. And even though we have a little bit of noise underneath over in this range, I would say put your alert 495, 500 kind of zone. If we break and close below that, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see quite a decent sell-off, possibly back down to market structure over here or further. I'd be taking actually the range of this last little bit of move here, extrapolating that out to the sell side, somewhere around this kind of $100 move down. For the bulls, this is just complete noise. There is no clean structure in here for us to pay attention to. And I don't like being part of that because you can get stuck in it for ages. It can do this and give you a roller coaster ride for ages. I prefer to be in when the market tells you there is money flow going in another direction. So Nvidia still stuck in the range as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what this stock is. What did I write down here? Terrible handwriting, guys. I wrote down, I know what it is. All right. I don't know how it ended up looking like that. Facebook. Another one that's clearly noised. So this particular stock, as soon as I see this kind of structure, I'm not interested in it. Why? Because there's just two smaller moves here. So for a day trader would come in here and they'd say, okay, we've got our resistance at 280. We're super keen on seeing a close above that zone. You can see the pre-market's 278.20. A day trader would be in here and they'd be going, okay, I'm interested in that zone on the daily. I'm going to go into the 4 hour. I'm going to go into the 2 hour. I'm going to go into all the smaller time frames. We've got a little 2050 cross coming in here in the 2 hour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on a time frame that never has broken above here. So 1 hour even. Okay, cool. And then we can look for a break close. And I'm going to take potentially some on the break, some on the pullback, and then take it to the next level of resistance. And I'm going to target a really small range, maybe up to 284, where there's some previous resistance and support. So there's 284, 285 area. That's what a day trader would do. Am I interested in that? Not so much anymore. But I understand that's the kind of zone. So there is some nice little resistance through here. Better structure than the other one. Coming off good support. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right. There could be even more in it, actually. There could be this entire kind of, let's call it a double bottom range. Kind of back into the highs. Could be even more in a break above 280. So I think 280 is a pretty key little zone there for Facebook. Hopefully that makes some sense. Baba, Jack Ma, annoying everybody at the moment. Even though he's not really got to do too much with this, I believe, in some ways. So we've got here 50 exponential moving average. That was our level that we thought could find some resistance. Previous market structure support, previous resistance, clearly is zone 280 as well. I sometimes pay attention to this. If the stock is traded a little bit by, let's say, people from China or just Asians in general, they do like the 8s. Sometimes you'll actually see gold as well gravitate to 8s. Now it seems weird, but that's actually a thing. They actually take profit on some of these levels. It's basic human psychology. So we've got the 280 here. This is a key point. It's clearly not opening well. We got a 270, but this was our point last week of resistance. It's coming down now. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get nice close down below this 20 today to see the further selling back to test the previous lows, and then we'll have to see what the market makes sense of. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this stock come back down. Remember, 270 kind of level over here is important for the support to hold. Close a little bit below that, triggers a huge amount of selling back into the support. Good area. Dividend Cake says, do you trade stocks with CFDs at FX Evolution, or do you swing trade most of it? Mostly swing trading, Dividend. I like your name, by the way. That's cool, Dividend Cake. I like collecting franking credits possibly in Australia. I look at a lot of swing trading, a lot of covered. If I'm trading, let's say, leverage positions, I often look at spreads. If I'm trading like that kind of thing. Swing trade, I'll also look at spreads as well. Yeah, I like spread options with leverage. Just something I like, having fixed risk, and spread options give you the ability to do that. They also give you some really good payoffs. I find sometimes the problem with CFDs, you're obviously leveraging, yeah? And sometimes you can get a little bit carried away with your leveraging. And we've all been there, we've all leveraged a little bit too much. And what happens, you get a massive gap. You get an earnings report you didn't realize was coming out. And you get a 20% gap off. It fills the whole thing and then comes back the next day, but you get leveraged out because of your stop loss or something. When you use like an option spread, you will not get stopped out because, of course, you have a time expiry instead. So I do like options for that reason. You don't get stopped out as much by weird spiky things. There are hints and ways of doing it, though. You don't want to do a option the traditional way. If you do it that way, you get messed up. Gareth says they do love their 8s. Absolutely. Some houses, if they have 8s in them, you will make more money. Nike, a request for Nike. We did have that one before, so we'll check out Nike. Is Nike doing well? Should be doing well. Bought some Nike shoes in the Black Friday sale, so I'm sure they're enjoying my money. Here we've got obviously the previous really strong 105 break. So Nike's basically on a roller coaster to the moon. Look at this incredible run it's had over the last couple of years. Whoa. Air Jordan. It's gone wild. So pretty crazy stock. I don't see huge amounts of value here. Again, it's one that you're trying to find a reoccurring pattern on. Notice over here, we get the gap up followed by the sell-off. This is the first time we actually held above here. Probably points to, if we do see a sell-off now in Nike, we're going to have a 20 exponential coming up on the previous resistance zone. What is that level? Let me get that level. About 131-ish. There should be a 20. This is only the daily. I mean, that's thin value, but there should be some buying pressure coming into Nike around here. Previous resistance, etc. may be worthwhile you, of course, looking at and making some decisions on. But yeah, this is not really a stock. I think it's going well. Where to next? A lot of people ask, well, if I'm already in it, where could it go? I like to use fib extensions. So fib extensions like a retracement on the last pullback, and then you try to figure out. You'll notice here it's incredibly extended off the previous pullback over here. Incredibly extended. So I'm not sure if I'm like, wow, this is great value or anything. Very tough trade stock. Obviously easy just to buy it and be right most of the time, but it is very, very high. Beyond puts, says Lewis. I think beyond puts would be very expensive. Solar says if Tesla gets a pullback, I think very high volume will come. I think you'll get a huge amount of people re-entering into it. Remember, Tesla is now what, S&P 500, so it's going to have a lot more trade on it from the big boys. Someone's saying Tesla's spiking pretty huge right now. So we're 603, 3% up. I think that was pretty similar to what we had before. This could be the same effect that we're seeing in cryptocurrencies right now. Remember, a lot of people go home and they tell everybody how great they are about making lots of money in something. And then they say, like, get in, get in. Tesla trades like a cryptocurrency. In my opinion, Tesla is the closest stock to a cryptocurrency without being one. It has hype. It has super FOMO. It has all the properties of extended crazy runs when it goes on, and it doesn't pull back. So when it breaks to a new high, it just goes. It doesn't come back. So yeah, I mean, why is it up 3%? I'm sure you could find some reason. But as a price action technical analysis kind of based trader, you don't really need to know the reasons too much unless they're really heavily fundamental. There's a lot of noise that goes in between, and then people say, oh, it's this reason or that reason, or Wedbush upgraded it or something. It's not that much. Unexpected Visit says Tesla has the S&P 500 inclusion factor. Apparently some hedge funds have to buy it. Yeah, that's certainly true. They will have to buy it. Buzz says, any thoughts on the vaccine stocks, Tom? Yeah, look, I mean, obviously Warren Buffett's been buying a few of them, hasn't he? I don't think that there's anything too... Oh, someone just messaged me and they said, your videos are getting spammed by fake accounts, man. Yes, I'm very well aware. That's a plague of YouTube right now. But I don't think there's too much kind of point to necessarily get into too many of these vaccine stocks. They'll make money, but the government will limit their profits. This will not be a super profit cow like a lot of people think. I think so anyway. Gravity Falls says Barber has bad seasonality in December. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so we said we'd have a look at this one before, which is the XLE. So XLE's had a very nice little recovery on it recently. It's been one of those sectors that we've been paying a lot of attention to because of its recovery, because of course what happened to it coming into the crisis, what happened to it during the crisis. I think this is one of the deeper kind of value sectors we've had recently is in energy. Look at US oil to try to determine where it's going. So let's look at US oil first. Load this in. Now, we called that this should be the high. $46 should be the technical high. Why is this? The range of the previous structure. Why did I ignore this? Election. Random election information. This was random. I'm going to negate that, because I know what happened there. Remember before at the start of the stream, I was talking about some crazy candle that was like this. And I said, you can negate that for a reason. This I'll negate for the same kind of concept. So we've hit the 46. Now we're going to start to see where the oil can hold up. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see oil come back down a little bit, hit like a 43 previous resistance where 20 exponential reaches it. This is the daily, and then start to move up again. And where to next when it breaks through? 50, obviously going to be a support into resistance area. If it keeps coiling here and breaks through, nothing stopping it to 50. Huge amounts of previous supports around that 50 though. So when it gets through this level, this 46, look at that zone. Wow. Look at that area. There's like a beautiful area around this 50 here. Very cool zone to be looking at for oil. So I think there's still a bit of room there, Sandola, in energy stocks if you're holding them for the longer period. We look at the actual market here. We've got a 38.91 pre-market kind of open. Where is that? Around here. Previous resistance got busted off. We know that there was a lot of resistance around this 39. Makes sense for it to be kind of holding around there at the moment. It's moved very quickly, very aggressively away from the 20. Might be time for a bit of a cooler. Just like oil, bit of a cooler, pulls back, hits the 20, finds some kind of support, something like that, then moves up. But yeah, for here, if you're doing your analysis, look at oil probably the most right now. Look at the way it's trading and then focus on that. No worries, Sandollar. Thank you very much. Ranjit says SPY puts. Be interesting to look at SPY puts and see how much they're trading at premium right now. At the CBOE, we looked at the Fear Greed Index before. Look at this crazy reading. For anyone that missed it, whoa. My goodness, that's high. That is a high point for multi-year extreme greed setting. Now, I'm not sure if we like this oscillator that much, but I'm going to pay some attention here. I think this is pretty nuts. We can see, though, before the crisis, it also hit a very high reading. Didn't necessarily crash, did it? So it can sit up here for a while, but this means caution. Pay some attention to what you're doing. Pay some attention to the companies and the FOMO that you might be feeling as well. Let's refresh the future screen here. Silver, gold still down for today. US dollar obviously under the 92. We talked about the monthly before. Nikkei, DAX, all of these kind of flat to down. A little bit of recovery in the S&P 500, it looks like, coming into the market open. Let's have a look here. Yep, there's that little bit of recovery coming into the futures. Gold as well. Top 10 says no Forex. We had a look at the Euro Yen before, so we will be looking at some more Forex now. We're at 12:03, so we're about 1.5 hours away from the open. We've done a bunch of requests. We've got some smaller ones to do here as well. I think we've got Crowd, RCL, CCL, CRM, maybe there as well, and that seems to be it. So we'll go to a currency first. Talk about some currencies. What have I been looking at this week? Well, I looked at the Euro Yen. I quite like that one. Euro US dollar has been pretty good to me as well. So I'll go to the Euro US dollar. It's been a pretty strong kind of purchase. I think buy long, really, when it got through this resistance over here. I always do like, as you know, seeing a lot of these wicks getting closed above with market structure. That gives me a lot of confidence that we're in a bigger bull trend. You notice I've got a 2-hour chart here. Been using 2 hours a bit in currency recently. Been looking at this 20. Been looking at a 20 pullback this week. So I expect some dollar strength today. Possibly some dollar strength. Therefore, weakness against the US dollar across the board. Euro coming down right now, which is good. Wouldn't mind to see it come back down to this level. Euro pound, another one that's interesting. Came off this key zone here. We've got 89.50. Remember, even if you're a stock trader or you're a currency trader or you're a commodities trader, TA is very similar throughout all of them. In fact, currency is one of the best places to learn TA. You get the most amount of structure. You get the most amount of opportunity to kind of like hone your skills. Stocks very, I guess you would say, messy compared to something like this. We've got support, resistance, huge amounts of structure through this point, a nice pullback into the zone. You can see why it bounced there, and now we're struggling to get through the area. But yeah, this was a very nice little pickup. I'm sure a few people got this one. What a great zone, great area for the Euro pound. Very, very nice. I like that quite a lot. A few other crosses have been interesting recently. If we go to the daily, I think, we go to the Euro, was it Pound New Zealand, I believe? Pound New Zealand had an incredibly significant crack last week below this area. These are why you set landmines, you set kind of timers for things. Look at this zone, the 1.9050. Very difficult to get through here on the daily. Multiple supports broken, cleared underneath. Go to the 4-hour, see how the market structure is coming through. What did we talk about at the start? 1, 220, 320, incredible short off opportunity. Very nice. So there's a lot going on in the currency world. There's certainly some ups. I would say if you're a currency trader, I usually only trade Asian style pairs in the morning. So that's things like New Zealand, odd, yens, maybe some gold on Mondays. You can only look at those. And then on Tuesdays, things heat up in currencies. That's the time you want to be checking them out. Public Troxel. I'm not sure if you're talking about me, man, but I'm definitely not on that. AMD, yeah, we can check out some AMD. AMD, very nice company, doing really, really well right now. Strong little bit of resistance. We've got our support, clear line through the 75. Clear line through the 88 as well. Nice 8 number. Look at resistance breaks there. And a resistance break should be followed by close, break and close, obviously important, followed by a nice pullback back to this point, possibly then nice kind of movement back up to the highs. AMD is looking pretty strong here. You'll notice that nice pull-offs of the 20 and the 4 hour at resistance right now for AMD. New Zealand odd. Not a favorite of mine there, Alan. I'm not a fan of... You mean odd New Zealand, or you trade it the other way around? New Zealand odd. New Zealand US dollar's been on a massive tear recently. This had a sick break on it. What a great level. Got through the 68. Did not look back. Started trading off those kind of moving averages again. Very nice pullbacks and very nice reloads. Remember, if you haven't used TradingView, I don't have the affiliate code, but there is a Black Friday special. I'm not sure if it's still on. It's a pretty good deal. You can definitely check out our Discord if you want to find out more about that link. But yeah, TradingView is a great little thing if you're using technical analysis. Thanks very much, top 10. No worries. Buzz says Kiwi strong over the last few days. Certainly has been. Amazing runs here. Again, if it starts accelerating like we see before, look how it moves. 1, 2, just keep buying that 20. Eventually it will fail. Of course it will. There's been some nice little day trade opportunities through this 2 hour here, Buzz. Very, very nice. So let's ask a question of the community. I had a question here, and it was about basically people watching our content. So obviously we'd love to grow the community as much as possible. And I'm interested to see what people's opinions are on the new thumbnails that I've been doing. So more the plain thumbnails. Have you guys been enjoying those new thumbnails? You find them a bit better? I mean, the hits, the likes, the comments, everything's been up. So I'm just making sure that everyone's been enjoying those. Let me know if you think the new ones are better than the old ones. I know that they're kind of similar to some other people's because they're just TA kind of white screens. They've been doing quite well. And also let me know if you ever send an email to thomas@fxevolution.com if you have any ideas or tips about improving the channel. I'm always interested in those. We'll have a quick look at odd New Zealand while we're doing a few of these currencies. So odd New Zealand, the opposite kind of the New Zealand US dollar really. Odd weakening against the New Zealand dollar. Probably a huge amount of political events going in here, as well as monetary policy from the RBA. Starting to kind of accelerate a little bit too far away, I would say. Let's go down to the 4 hour. I mean, it's about to make a new low. It's a clear, nice level of support through here. Probably nothing for me here on this one, even though it's in a very strong downtrend. I like that 1.05 though. I wouldn't mind like a little pull up to it, followed by a small time frame lightning bolt down. Monster amounts of support across here. That'd be cool. 1.05. Yeah, downtrend. I mean, trading with the trend is really the key with currency. A few people asking about Square. I'll definitely check that out. New Zealand yen, very similar to all other New Zealands, but a bit weaker than the other ones. I think the other ones were a bit better. Let's see here. It's had a very nice structure through here. Yeah, I don't like this one too much. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but I'll leave that one for now. It is long though. Square, it's well above the 200. Let's go down here. So we've got above the 200. That's a psychological point. We hit resistance, broke through. Now if it comes down, 20 exponential moving average. So I don't like it at this price, but maybe I like it more at 200 for a trade. Possibly that zone will be worthwhile considering. Resistance, support already, but this time with the 20. So check that out for Square. Right on that line possibly would be worthwhile considering and potentially setting up for with your other ideas. A few people saying they're pretty good, so that's good. Kada says, hey Tom, what do you think about pins, which is Pinterest or Snapchat? Okay, so Snap, I've always been pretty consistent on. My thoughts on Snap were like every other one of these tech companies. When they first come in, usually for the first couple of years, the market has no idea what's going on. They overprice it, like Twitter, like Facebook, like everything. And even Baba came in pretty hot and then not. This stock here is getting a lot of attention. Now, I can't proclaim to have any idea what the hell's going on in Snapchat. I don't use it. From a TA perspective, it's obviously doing incredibly well and it's broken to a new high and it's looking very bullish and very strong. I find it difficult sometimes to get into these trends after they've already occurred, like when they're up here and they're going nuts, because I know that at some point you're going to get a very large decline that's going to be painful because, it needs to justify, it needs to have incredible strength. If you look at any of the previous ones, Twitter, you look at Facebook, you look at any of the others, you go look at the charts, compare your charts with them. What you'll notice, guys, is that particular level or zone has it's gone crazy, then it's had to justify some of that, and it's had a massive blow-off event that's got you back in at a more fair price. So do I think $46 is a fair price for Snap, which was at like $5 a couple of years ago, and even $8 during this crisis? I think there is pullback value here. But the trend is up. So if you're trading it, the trend is up, but have a plan. If you're investing in it, do I like that price? Not for me, no. What's Pinterest? Pins. Pins is a bit clearer on the 20 pullbacks that have been very, very nice recently. Another very strong kind of company came out of the gates too high, came right back down, and then through this has been basically the perfect storm for Pinterest. Another one that I'm not a huge fan of because I don't like companies that haven't been on the stock exchange too long. But here you've got a huge amount of pull-offs off the 20. I'd just be looking at that. Another nice one would be a great level if we could get it back down to this 65 and a 20, and it moves a little bit higher, comes down, picks it up, 20 exponential at that zone. That wouldn't be bad at all, would it? Miles Away Jackson says, thanks Tom, already in Square while just looking whether to take profits or hold further. Look, you can't deny, Miles, it's in a very good trend, isn't it? I mean, if you're in the trend, you have your plan. If your plan is, I'm going to follow Pinterest by the 50 exponential moving average and therefore have a dynamic stop loss. Never have a fixed stop loss for what you're trailing with. If you're trailing like a stock and you're using a $1 trail, you're going to set yourself up for disaster. But if you have like a dynamic stop loss, it's much better. So for Pinterest, it's just up, up, up. And so with Square, up, up, up. So you might as well just follow the trend. Very easy to follow with the trend. You just need to recognize that there might be some key technical that tells you to get out. Par6731 is coming in with $5. Thank you very much, Par6731. Been watching your videos for a long time, and the tips and tricks you share help a lot. Also, what do you think about Bitcoin? Will it pass 19K? I would have a guess yes. Why do I believe that? Well, I believe we're going into Christmas. I believe we saw a very similar event to last time in 2017 over the Thanksgiving kind of break. We obviously had that low liquidity crash, or flash crash as I like to call it, followed by, as we thought, an incredible bull pickup. And because we had that incredible bull, let's bring up Bitcoin. We talked about it before, but there'll be a whole bunch of new people here to talk about it now. So let's just quickly bring that up. Where's my watch list for it? There we go. So we had that incredible kind of flash followed by a nice pickup. I believe this will create more FOMO events like 17, and you'll probably have a coiling event just under that 19.5, 19.8 area. If it coils, let's say it goes up and it coils here, it doesn't care about 20. It'll just bust it. If it goes straight into 20 and doesn't do any coiling, then it will probably sell off a little bit, come back down, and then most likely move forward. But yes, I do believe we're going for all-time highs on crypto, as in Bitcoin. I don't see what stops it right now. You've got a lot of catalysts for strength. When will it stop? When will it have its proper breather? Most likely around Chinese New Year. Why is that? It just always happens. Chinese New Year, you see selling of cryptocurrencies. People get it out and they go for the red pockets. Here, even in 18, we saw some selling. January, we saw a little bit of sell-off. Let's have a look here. What happened? So Chinese New Year, can't remember when it was this year, sometime in Feb, I believe. Obviously coincided with the crisis. Last time, crypto fell off after it. If you especially look at the altcoins, that's what happened. Where's our one before that? Again, Chinese New Year, sell-off event happened. Remember, it changes each year. It can either be back end of Jan or Feb sometime into March, I believe. So that's something I think makes a big difference in cryptocurrencies. Gravity Falls says the kids use Snap, but I have no idea how they make money. It'd be ads, it'd be all sorts of things. Also, it's more about user base. User base is super important there, Gravity. Remember, keep those questions coming. We will answer as many as possible here. It's always great. Par6731 says Chinese New Year never even reached my mind. Yeah, there's a huge amount of people in Asia trading with it. They take profit. They give it in red packets. Look, crypto, I cannot stress this enough to everyone out there. Cryptocurrency trades like basic human psychology, and it trades by the people and by the herd of who's trading it. And that's us, the retail traders. It's still predominantly traded by retail traders. That's what makes it awesome. It's so easy to predict. A few people asking thoughts on the ASX 200. So thoughts are, if we continue to kind of fight with China in terms of trade war and those types of things, we can't really win that battle right now. I don't think either side wants to back down, but I would say China will not. In this case, you'll probably have these moving averages on the 4-hour, being the 20 and the 50, acting as some kind of resistance, and possibly some further selling pressure. Look at 6,500. If that doesn't hold support, then we could be seeing some big sell-offs on the ASX 200, possibly even to the 6,250, 6,200. There's super support there, though. Yeah, it's a tough time for the ASX. So we've got some others here. We've got CCL that we want to check, which I believe is Carnival. So this one has been having a very strong recovery. Got some great price action on this at around this 1920 zone. We're now trading at 2190. So is this still a possible buy? Well, I think you should do fundamentals on a stock like this. Check their cash flow, check their balance sheets. I personally don't buy this stuff. I don't, because I'm not interested in it and I don't feel like doing the research. But that doesn't mean there is an opportunity. What you can do is you can look at the price structure, 1920, there's clearly some resistance. We've broken through, closed above that. And we know now that if it probably comes back, it's going to intersect with the 20 exponential at the resistance peaks. And that point there is going to be a cool point. That point there could push us back into 2550. So I don't mind the zone. I don't mind the area. You have to do your own risk analysis on it. But yeah, that's all right. It's clearly in a very nice... The vaccine news helps this stock a lot. RCL... Another stock that's broken out of a nice range, clear little 75. I'd be drawing a little range here. Let me get my little rectangle out. Nice little area in there for now that we've broken and closed above for it to act as support. Well worthwhile checking out here. Again, you need to look at it. Do your fundamental analysis on these ones. I'm a big proponent of, in stock, fundo and technical. Not many technical analysts will recommend that kind of thing or say, okay, I think that both have merit. Why? Because they're not open to the idea. It's both together that make you a strong trader. What doesn't make you a strong trader is this. Reading this. That creates bad decisions. Understanding when earnings reports are coming out and all those things is really important. But news in general, how many of you out there, I want to ask the room, how many of you out there have closed positions because you've gone on Bloomberg, or closed positions because you've gone on Reuters, or you've heard the news, or you've spoken to a friend and they're like, be scared or something. You've had your own plan and then you've broken that plan. Let the community know. Let us know if you've done that before. I've done it. I'll put my hand up right now. I have listened to the news before and made poor choices which were against my strategy and my plan. Remember, if the price action is telling you we're going long, guys, you just follow it. The price action is not lying to you. This is lying to you. They've got to write articles every day. They've got to make content every day. Remember that. Pa says he used to, but never again. Siddharth says, I don't even read the news. Kadir says, I did that. Brian says, totally agree. Don't trade news, trade price. Good work, Brian. Absolutely. Chris says, I have. Yep. Christina, quite a few of you have done it. We've all done it. Zalev says, I lost 40K of gains because I panicked Neo when Trump tweeted that there would be no stimulus. Yeah. See, it's a suck, Zalev. That's the thing. It sucks. That kind of stuff, it does. It creates these little shock waves, and then you get fear from it. And then if you weren't even looking at that tweet at the time, you were fishing or you're playing golf or something, 3 hours later, unfortunately, it would have recovered, and you'd be sitting there going, no, well, I don't even know what happened, but I don't care either. It's all good. So, yeah. What's our predictions about gold? Well, we did go over it before. So we think gold's got a little bit of weakness still in it, but it's right on that level. So 50 exponential on the weekly, lots of market structure through the 1750, 1760 zone. I think with gold, what you want to recognize is that it's in free fall. In the previous kind of terms, we got support, we got a wick, we got pullbacks, and then we got pullbacks again here. And we know that it can wick through this 50. So we think that there should be some support here in the market, but we want to see that confirmation. Don't catch a falling knife is usually the rule of TA. If you see this, it could create opportunity, but you don't need the best price. Wait for the lightning bolt. Wait for the engulf. If you miss out, oh well, there's another solution or another thing. It's not like a stock where you're going to hold it for years potentially. You may only be holding it for a few months. This is a good one. Takula Kevin says, chart said hold, news said sell. I sold. Yeah, that's unfortunately the truth. It's painful too. Very painful when that happens. So we're sitting at 12:25 a.m. Lots of things that we've covered today. I think some really good kind of session stuff that we've covered, which is awesome. Looked at gold. I think gold's been a very interesting kind of phenomenon where it got to that 1800, our first target for the sell. Did some kind of buying structure. We go into the smaller time frames, we'll see that. A little bit of buying. I've talked about this on the Wednesday webinars. If you're interested, definitely sign up for our cheat sheet. Dave, if you're out there and you're still up, post in our cheat sheet for everybody. Free trading cheat sheet if you want to check that out. Basically, this little bit of a resistance we were interested in. If we got a close above that, I thought that was a signal for longs. We didn't get it. The market didn't fake out. The market just didn't give us that strength. When we didn't get that strength, of course, then we continued on. And as soon as we broke through here, I mean, you can see what happened. Somebody dumped some contracts. There was a huge amount of selling here that pushed it through that zone. Sometimes that's going to happen and you won't get in. You could have a pending underneath here, but pendings aren't always great. So yes, you could have marketed, but you want to usually wait for confirmation. And in this case, it's just a super aggressive sell-off. Amro says gold can make rich this month. It certainly can do well for you. I think it's at the right zone. Dollar index is going to be the interesting one. Remember, the monthly is about to hold under 92. I think that's pretty key. I got some interesting stocks coming in here. I don't even know some of these stocks that some people are asking about. Maybe we'll type one of them in. So I know Salesforce, obviously. And there's another one out there, though, that is, I believe, JMIA. I'll check that one out. So Salesforce, I believe, had a pretty poor earnings report. Is that right? We're at 250 pre-market. Go to the weekly to get some idea of how crazy this stock's been going. So very aggressive buying came through since March. Particularly this week was incredible. 200 all the way to 273. Now we're consolidating after that big move. Pretty standard kind of thing to happen in the world of trading. Let's have a look here. Horizontal support. Got a very, very nice little level here around this 245. I think if we break close below that, where do we go? Straight down to the 230. Very clear that there'll be a gap fill at that point. You would think that it would gap fill down to this zone, present some decent value, maybe for some buyers that are wanting to pick it up. For any bull, all you're looking at is setting a 270. You get above 270. Will it stop here? I think not. This looks like Tesla. It's like very similar to Tesla. Got resistance. If the market bulls up, closes above here, we know based on previous, I know there's an earnings report or something in here, but based on previous breaks that it just goes bang, or at least some kind of bang. So 270 for the bulls, a close above that, very nice. Do bulls have anything to be concerned about? A little bit of downside action possible underneath here, and you only really get concerned if it closes below this zone. So at this point, I think it's pretty nice. Not bad. CRM is cool. I did certainly do Bitcoin twice, and you can go back. We've covered it twice. We'll probably cover it one more time throughout the session. But yeah, I think Bitcoin's been one of the easiest trades of the last couple of weeks. Buzzblad's coming in with Australian $5. Thank you very much there, Buzz. Appreciate the support, man. Very much so. Gevo Inc. Request of the community here on this one. Oh, okay. Tell you what, if you looked at this on a few time frames, you're going to look at it like it's an inverse head and shoulders, aren't you? Oh, on the back end of a very steep decline. Holy whoa. Whoa. What is this? Is this serious? Chemical Specialty Process Industries. What the hell is this thing? All right. Well, anyway, I've never traded this, but it looks like an inverse head and shoulders at the bottom. That is a very terrifying looking downtrend, followed by some crazy wicks. You've got your left head, right's smaller than the left, which is important. Very easy neckline to pick up here as well. Any pullback back into that should be met with some kind of buying pressure, you would think. I don't know what this is, though. Maybe I'm being a noob because it's like 12:30 at night, but I don't think so. That's, yeah. All right, fair enough. We're going into the deep recesses of crazy stocks here. Jumia Technologies. All right, so another breakout here. Not much data on this one, it looks like, on the weekly. Clear little bit of resistance just around that 2050 zone. It's gone nuts since then. I don't think there's too much you can go here, guys, except for you just have to go down the smaller time frames and look at this aggressive run. You know, you need to go down to the smaller time frames, find your moving average that's bouncing off, and just basically you're taking pickups for as long as the uptrend survives. I cannot tell you any more about this particular stock, but that's usually the way you want to follow aggressive trends. You have to go to the time frame, find a reoccurring kind of moving average that it picks up off. So in this case, maybe the 20 on the 30-minute has been found twice. Just found it. Obviously, we've got a pre-market kind of underneath that zone, which could mean it's rolling over. And not my kind of thing, dude. Buzz says that looks terrifying. That looked crazy. That was some nuts what was going on there. So back to the markets for a minute. That was terrifying. Whatever that other thing was. I don't remember what it was now, but it was terrifying. That chemical company. 36.30. So 36.30 on the real market, the S&P. This is the futures here. Not really too much going on into the Monday. In some ways, a bit of a boring session coming in. I think the big news of the day for anyone that's joining us is probably the ASX 200, the Australian market, where I'm from. That market got clobbered today because, of course, tensions between China and Australia. You can see over here, 1.21% down. It was down even more before. The US market's in a precarious situation. This week, we usually expect weakness. That's just statistical. This is the year of breaking a lot of statistics. But usually the week after Thanksgiving is not the best of weeks. Usually it's also led by XLY. So finance, as in the consumer discretionary, is usually the one strong kind of market sector. I'll be looking at that one today during the market open myself to see whether it leads the market or it's not doing so well, because I think that shows us a lot about strength right now. Oil continuing kind of hovering around with the OPEC summit. Where was our US 500 again? So US 500 resistance, we'll certainly be looking at 35.20 this week as well as a very important zone. Let's load up the US 100, have a look at that. So US 100 cleaned the 12,100 level. It cleaned, closed above, and you would think this is primed now to go back and test 12,400 kind of area. It's looking good. It's come twice off the 20. So if we get a pullback right now, maybe only just to the 20. 20 pickup, 20 pickup. That's a 1-2. We like 1-2s. Worthwhile checking out. Look more to the real Nasdaq than the US 100 though. Remember, whatever happens on the futures is usually a bit fake. Yo Gendra, I think you are the most consistent person, Yo Gendra, coming in here with the Bank Nifty. The Bank Nifty is always the one that you're looking at. So we've had some pretty interesting zones on this one. I think we've talked about this area here. Obviously, we got it highlighted. Talking about that zone, I think, before, quite a while ago. We're talking about the break here quite a while ago. And now it's hit that resistance. Support became resistance. You would think that there should be some profit taking around here on Bank Nifty. It's also done incredibly well recently. Look at that massive run up. I think most banks around the world, including the Australian banks, are due for a bit of a pullback. If you look at something like NAB in Australia, another incredibly strong run, hits 24, previous kind of like support around there as well. Look at that support, acts as resistance, and now pullback possibly back to the 20 moving average. So that pulls us back to 22 flat. Very strong run up in the banks recently. Copper going nuts. China buying this one. Obviously, we use copper a little bit during crisis to get an idea if the markets are healthy or not. It's being manipulated at the moment. That's why I haven't been putting it too much in our analysis. But it's generally been a very, very strong kind of uptrend. And copper is continuing to be in demand and will continue to be so. Let's have a look at copper on the monthly to put it in perspective. We don't even have that older charts here. But even in 2011... should be around the peak of copper consumption, maybe a little bit before that, we had much higher price than currently. So I expect copper to continue its increase in price. Mr. Computer Guy says, hi, Tom. Hello, Mr. Computer Guy. Tom Bull says, do you think copper will still be Dr. Copper once EV material demand increases? Yeah, I think that copper is good at one point in time, Tom, and that's the only time. Being out of a crisis into recovery. I don't use it the rest of the time. Some people do, but I wouldn't bother. I just look at it just to see whether there's a huge amount of purchases. Because what I treat copper as is if copper demand's there, that means that the countries are buying it, that you're seeing a huge amount of infrastructure builds, that you're seeing recovery style, basically printing of cash to build things and create all those types of things. So I like Dr. Copper for that reason. But only during crisis into recovery. EL says, you guys should take a look at BlackBerry. EL, have you come to us from 2006? BlackBerry? What is that? I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Not that they were ever big in Australia. It's the new BlackBerry Spark in cybersecurity market. BlackBerry's new CEO, John Chen, said that in 2018 that BB's share price will hit $20 within 5 years. Can't comment on it really, other than I remember BlackBerries. Anyone remember those Motorola flip phones, the Razr? Isn't it crazy to think that almost every phone, I was watching this thing the other day, it's like the most popular phones of all time, and there's Nokia's just smoking everything, and then Motorola Razr comes in around like 2004 to like 2006, very popular, that stupid flip phone. I had one, everyone had one, and then just suddenly dies, and the whole company goes bust basically and sells out to Google. It's crazy to think of these companies that you think are too big to fail, and they fail on you. Bloodbath says, lol, might as well look at Nokia while you're at it. Absolutely. Nokia. EDU. I'll look at it for you, Johnny. I'll look at EDU for you. This is a certain FOMO stock right now. So we have, very nice runs here. Let's get the weekly. Probably a trend line almost on this one, Johnny. And I don't bring out the trend line very often, but I think trend line is worthy. Let's go in here. Trend lines, remember, you curve fit them a lot for yourself. So what you're trying to do, the trend line seems to be pretty in line with the 20 at the moment. Yeah, I like this level. 155-ish. Probably won't get that low, so maybe a 160 here. Yeah, it's pretty cool at 160. 20 moving average, trend line, previous support. Cool. You'll notice I often go to weeklies when we're looking at pullbacks. 180 is a clear bull. You're partying when you get past this 181, close above that. That's a party. It's a very cool zone if it breaks through. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Great little support kind of pickup. So a lot of 50 exponential moving average pickups here, which is probably what you're looking at there, Johnny. Yeah, look cool. I mean, there's only a little bit of potential pullback past that point. But yeah, strong uptrend. Clear 180 as your bull kind of, wow, 181 would be awesome. Worthwhile checking. Jamira says, will S&P 500 continue to rise? Question is, yes, it will. The answer is, when will it hit a new high? Of course, it's going to rise over time. Starth says, BlackBerry had co-CEOs, and that says it all there. Wayne, we definitely checked out Barber. You can go back through this stream. We've looked at Barber already, though, in some detail. I think it had a 50 exponential moving average that was looking at resistance. And then, of course, we should see a sell-off from that point. Hello, Moto. Is goodbye, Moto. Yeah, that's right, Siddharth. Might as well have a brick in your hand. Uptrend in BTC. It's all bull, all good in BTC right now. Leo says, Tom, use SMA, EMA, or WMA. EMA is for the shorter time frames, Leo, and SMA for the big one. So when you have a 200 simple, when you have a 50 and a 20 exponential. A lot of people don't realize why the 20 is so important. Think about it this way. If you're trading for a day, like a month, and how many trade days are there in a month? About 20, yeah? 21 sometimes. So if there's only like 20 trade days in a month, what is that? That's a 20 exponential moving average. Remember, it's the last 20 days, the last 20 periods. Why that number is so good. You want to use, ironically, what other big traders use. When it becomes so many people are looking at something, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. VWAP has become a very popular indicator as well on small time frames. But remember, VWAP is only good on 1 minute, 5 minute, those kind of, I like it on the 5 minute if I'm scalping. It's a little bit of a drawing. We've got here the S&P 500 today, 3640, 3650 kind of resistance. Remember, this is the real SPX market on the 4 hour. Got a little bit of a trend line coming through here. Not that strong. I felt like drawing an ascending triangle. You'll notice this is the exact image of the video that I made on the weekend. So we're still looking for pullbacks this week, possibly some weakness in the market overall. Keep life simple, says Afterpay. Because keep life simple, you're Australian, because no one else in their right mind would be looking at Afterpay. We will we'll be definitely looking at that for you right now. So Afterpay, check this out. You want to talk about some good 10 bangers? Afterpay, $2. Well, it's more than 10 banger, isn't it? $2.68, 2017. Wild increases since then. Now trading at $100. Why does this stock, you know what this stock does for anyone out there? This stock literally lets you buy clothing and other things on payment plans. It's like pay-buy, it's like lay-buy, except lay-buy over a few weeks. Look, I've always been pretty much a proponent of, I'd like to see where Afterpay is in a few years' time. I understand there's a lot of money to be made here, and it's obviously a great trading stock to the upside. But yeah, I'm a little scared of this one. I always have been. So 101, this random zone above 100 is acting as resistance. Worthwhile going to the daily then when you see that. And you want to start lining them up. So what I would do is I'd definitely draw my horizontal resistance up here. Clear, very nice little level there. And I draw my beautiful kind of support here. I think this is a great trap for this. We've got resistance, we've got bodies. Now, notice I draw to the bodies here whenever possible. I do that for a very strong reason. For an Afterpay trader, you do not want it under this 50 exponential on the daily. You do not want it underneath that zone. If we go through why, it held the 50 pretty well in its only big major pullback. And I think this was the split of shares. Maybe the split was over here. This zone here though, if it gets and sells underneath this, be prepared for some pretty heavy selling. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets under here, it pulls back, finds resistance at the 20, the previous, it's going to be a bloodbath. Cool, I'm going to set some alerts for this actually. Just bear with me there, guys. I'm just writing some stuff down. Cool. Cool zone. Like the zone. 45x. Aussie. Absolutely, man. What about Zip? You're in that one as well, probably. Yeah, this company's wild. That's crazy. I still can't get over how PayPal aren't just crushing them. But anyway. Cool zones. Please check Etsy. All right, we'll check out Etsy. I think today is a lot about looking at some different stocks, paying attention to, kind of learning experiences. There might be one, if I have time and we can bother doing it, there's a really good level that I think we should all learn. Probably do it next week, so definitely tune in then. If you're not subscribed, come join us next Monday. I've got some pretty good ones to share with the community, I think. So Etsy, big breakout here, 160 pre-market, but very strong close on the Friday. What is there to say? This thing's in a super uptrend. It's not really that difficult when it's in an uptrend. 20 exponential on the weekly has been holding it really, really nicely. Close above here is great. Go to maybe a 4 hour, I think. Possible pullbacks to the 155, maybe 150. Probably 150 should be met with support. So if we get down here, Let the moving averages catch up a little bit. Very nice little zone for a little bit of a reload there. But this stock is just, it's not giving you any bearish signals. So if you're in it, I guess you just keep holding it. Unless you've got some plan of a take profit. It's not at a key psychological zone like a 200 or something like that. It's just going long. All right, keep life simple. No worries, man. Good luck. Have a good sleep, bro. Household dog RGR. Scrum Rugico. Oh, this looks bearish, man. Big bearish looking thing going on here. It's a pretty significant break underneath the zone. 61.20 open. So where's that? 61.20 right around the danger area. So really box this area up. If you're a bull here, you really, really, really need this to be a fake break, because this looks like a breakdown and therefore further movement down could be in order. Look at that. Ooh. No, 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 no. We don't like that zone. 1, 2, 3, previous resistance, broke, closed down, followed by 2 little wicks. Any movement down here like that is going to be very, very weak. So I would be careful on RGR unless you are shorting it. This is a very critical point. The thing has to just bust up here. Daily, same, weekly. Weekly's holding above. Weekly close below here though. This week, that would be very bad. I don't know about this one, man. $77 coming in with $5 with the sticker party. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support as always, $10. You're mixing it up tonight. You are mixing it up. Par 6731 says Tom needs more coffee funds. Nah, it's all right. I appreciate it though. We're only 40 minutes away now, 41 minutes away from the market open. I do dislike these bloody daylight savings, double daylight savings. We used to be 11:30 open. That was awesome. Then we get to 12:30. All right, that's all right. Now we're 1:30. That's not so cool. There's a lot of interesting shares coming in here. Remember, when we're doing analysis, hopefully we can do analysis as much as possible on big companies. You know, we haven't even done Apple today. I got requests of that before. I like to do the big ones because, well, for me, they're more interesting to me. I actually like trading big, giant conglomerates. I like that kind of safety as well if you're buying, that you know you're buying something that has a true, tangible super value and will most likely return anyway. It means you've got even more odds stacked in your favor. If you're buying like a Nikola or something like that can go wild either way, yeah, that can be quite dangerous. So Apple here is really a mess right now from a TA perspective. I think that's why a lot of people aren't looking at it too much. Get that kind of, I just draw up every $5 with Apple. Basically, I just put $5 lines in. $5 lines. And I see if there's any strong support resistances off those $5 lines, like over here. And the ones that I do, I basically look to. So the 120, 110 to a lesser extent, and the 105, all interesting. And this middle bit, that's too much noise. There's way too much between those points. So yeah, for me, it's just really the 120 is a strong resistance. And I think a close above 120 up here is going to lead to more importantly, this level getting completely bashed, which is 125, but a big bull interest back in Apple, back to 130. Still stuck in the zone, doing nothing for now. I heard someone say Disney looks bearish. Disney is never bearish, it's only bullish. But no, it does look a little bit bad. I'm a bit uber bull on Disney, but it did hit the profit target that you would hope. So Hit that 150. That's a pre kind of crisis high. I don't think it deserves to be there necessarily. So I'm very happy with what happened with Disney in terms of getting back up to these prices. Very, very nice for all holders there. And you would expect selling pressure here. So further selling pressure should probably come in and then maybe back down to the 136 for Disney. Interesting one there, Buzz, for sure. Another one of my favorites that we haven't looked at for some time. The old McDonald's Corporation. Kind of hovering around this zone. No strong buys or sells or anything here. I've still got an alert set for 200 flat, or 220 I think it is. Just interested in that zone if it comes back down. I don't see why it couldn't come back down during like a bit of a kind of crash or flash or anything like that. Remember, the one thing with these stocks is you always want to have alerts for when times happen. When a crash happens, how many times have you not had a plan? How many times have you been like, I got no plan? What the hell? I don't. And then it just like 2 days later, it's all back and it's V-shaped reversed and you're like, didn't buy anything. You have to have your levels set. You have to know which stocks you're interested in. Plan ahead, have them ready, do your analysis, and then get in when you want to. Snook Aru says, morning Tom, any thoughts on ELMS and Phil merger, EV company? To be honest, Snook, I don't know much about those. Yeah. I don't know. So I can't really tell you much about it. I know a lot about a lot of markets, but the EV side, really, if it's not the super big ones, I'm not too much into it. A few people saying Bitcoin's moving pretty heavily here. So let's go back over. Is Bitcoin going wild? Certainly is. This has been an interesting stream of Bitcoin, actually. Let's go to 1 hour to put it in perspective. Been streaming for about 2 hours now. It's gone from 18.6 to 19.2. So Thanksgiving people, they have got money from somewhere. They're on Facebook Marketplace. They're on Gumtree. They're on eBay. They're flogging off all of their gifts they got over Thanksgiving, and they are selling it for Bitcoin. $19.2. Might watch this one today. Look at this. We were talking about this before. We believe this thing is going to crack 20. Yeah, no worries, Snook. Sorry, I can't be of more help on that one. It's not something I know too much about, though, so I don't want to comment on it. Bloodbath says, a call 20 by December. Well, what if it hits 20 today, Bloodbath? You'll be wrong. I think the thing is we're going to probably see crypto play 17 rulebook. Big runs into key events like Christmas, New Year, and then really I think it comes to a conclusion possibly around that time of the Chinese New Year. What's the code, Krunel? What is that? Holy moly. Is this serious? Well, I'm not sure if this is the one, dude. That's some really choppy looking chart. Basically, very quick, this zone was everything to this share, if this is the share. Beautiful support, great resistance, closed above. Any pullback to that zone is worthwhile looking at with more kind of your own opinions and looking at it. But yeah, very, very cool. Beautiful support, resistance, break, and close. That's nice. So Bitcoin's moving pretty strong. What about our good friends at Ethereum? What is Ethereum doing? So often, remember, with cryptocurrencies, what happens first? The first thing that happens, generally speaking, is we get the pickup in the big ones. Then you see the altcoins. XRP often is the one that moves the slowest and then starts to break out. So let's load up XRP as well. Get the Bit Phoenix stream here. So it's moving. Ooh. Come on. There we go. All right, we'll check that out. We're going to leave that one on for a minute. So check out our Webull pre-market analysis here in terms of what's been moving in the markets before we go back. What is that 13%? Moderna. Someone mentioned this before. mRNA, Moderna, up 13%. Obviously some news there coming out. Not sure who has the news on that one. Posted in the room right now. I haven't been reading it. Moderna, big news, obviously, 13% up. Must be one of their results or something. Our good friends at Snowflake doing as well okay here. We'll be watching Snowflake over the next 6 months. I'd definitely like to keep watching that. Also, Tesla up quite a lot. Zoom doing well, 471. Strong recovery in Zoom. It was like 380, 390 the other day. Talked about that 400 level being a pretty good support zone for it. DocuSign also coming back up. Let's look at the pre-market downs. Goldman Sachs, ooh, 8.7. Damn. Toyota, 3.11 down. Alibaba, 2.4. We talked about that one before. Oh, it's not. It's not down that much. Thank God. That was a crazy move there for Goldman. All right. Webull will be lying to us, guys. Did anyone else see that, or am I dyslexic or something? I thought it said 9%. Anyway. Dividend Cake says Moderna wants accelerated approval for their vaccine. They want it or they got it? I guess maybe they're going to get it. Harry says Moderna claiming 100% effective. Wow, that's a bold claim considering they wouldn't have enough actual data to figure that out yet. Reuters just released. All right, let's check it out together. Is it on their front page? Moderna to seek US and EU authorization for its vaccine on Monday. 94.1% effectiveness. 100% success rate in preventing severe cases of disease that killed nearly 1.5. I guess it's good news. Let's have a look at the broader market, see how they're looking at that. So we've got here, we need to change that to the US 100. Bring that down to the 1 hour chart. So this should be not that great for the Nasdaq today. I don't think it's anything really huge amount of new news coming through there. Let's just roll this up. So we've got a 36.38 coming in on, that's not the market. There we are. 36.31. So a little bit of bull movement here. All right, not bad. Nothing too interesting there, I don't think, in the futures moves, but big for Moderna. Alan brings up the good point, and Alan, I'm glad you mentioned this one. Fourth Monday in a row with the vaccine news. That is correct, Alan. We have had every single Monday, for everyone that's tuned in, we've had good vaccine news or some kind of random vaccine news every Monday. Household Dog says 101% effective. They're just adding up every single time. It's 0.1, 1, 2%. We're now up to 100% effective. Oh, it kind of reminds me of that vaccine news earlier in the year when we were crashing and the market was crashing, and they just come out with random bits of news events right around when the economic data was coming out. Does anyone remember that? We had economic data coming out. Just before the economic data, some random piece of positive news came out to overshadow or try to overshadow the negative bit of information. Household Dog says, you know it's the absolute top when I press the buy button. Did you press the buy button, Household Dog? So that's moving oil up right now. So maybe oil goes for its run. It breaks past that 46 and goes onto the 50. Kind of getting sick of these Mondays being always so positive with these news. What is this? QuantumScape. The data feed seems completely wrecked. This is a request here. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that one. I got broken feed for it, man. Or it hasn't come in for many data days. This looks insane. So I don't think it's really too hard. It's a bit too difficult for me to review. Not much market structure, just coming in super hot. So I'll probably leave that one. But I appreciate you coming through with it. Past 6731, 200% effective. You don't even have to get it. It's that good. Yeah. We did do NVIDIA, Dennis. We basically kind of had a look at it. It's stuck in a big range, and it's very difficult to kind of trade within the current kind of up, down, sideways action. We'll probably be looking mostly at cryptos right now just because that's where the action is at. We're only 27 minutes away from market open. We're coming in pretty much here with mostly ups throughout, I guess, most of the shares. A little bit of an up day. There is a share of greens and reds. Reds, 495 results for 19 billion plus with the Webull kind of like slide scope both ways. If you're interested in finding out more about Webull, I think you can get 4 free stocks. That could be their best ever. You can click the link down below. Definitely support the community here. And I think you get 4. I know it says 3, but I believe it gets you 4 for the month of November or something. November into December. Have we looked at gold? We certainly have looked at gold. So we're looking at XRP right here just because I'm interested in this zone. I hate it when it does this. I hate these closes. I hate these closes that, yes, it's slightly above in terms of body breaks, but it's not that, just not enough. Doesn't that suck? And that was our hour. We needed that. That sucks. Yeah, look, we've looked at gold. Pretty much gold. It's as simple as this. Chuck a weekly on there. You're on the 50. 50's been supported twice. Key market structure around 1750. It's currently trading as low as 1760 something. Go to the daily. Not much going on. Go to the 1 hour. You could see a potential little double bottom coming up here. So, of course, low, low, intervening off that previous level of structure. This is going to be a key level. If it closes above here, you see buying pressure back into 1800 and then possibly reselling pressure come back in. So there could be a little double bottom today in gold if we get some nice movements. It's pretty much that simple, really. Hopefully you followed that one. Silver, very similar, straight off the level of support here. Interesting zone. And it's all about the cryptocurrencies today. Siddharth says 3 of the stocks are GE. Absolutely. That's what Webull give you. They just give you GE. I actually don't. I don't know. We can't open Webull accounts here. I don't mind. I think it's pretty good. These platforms are cool. I'm actually working with one in Australia at the moment. Hopefully we get together on that one. But yeah, whatever. As long as they allow you to own the stock, that's the main thing. What was I going to type in? I wanted to look back to Bitcoin because everyone's going crazy about it. Look at it go. Let's make it ultra exciting. 1 minute. Boom. That's some big moves here. Look at the little 1 minute 20. It's gone nuts. It's gone so crazy. It's moved away from the 1 minute 20. Oh man, crypto, it wants it. It wants this 20K, but it probably wants to crack it and break it even more. Jason says, BTC making history at the moment. Please observe. We are observing, Jason. No worries. We haven't made history yet, though, have we? We need more. There's our daily. Oh. All right, let's load up a couple little charts here. What layout do we want? I think we go with the 4 layout. And we're going to get rid of SPX. We're going to bring in ETH. Now ETH US dollar over here. Bring that down to a 15-minute chart. ETH at 605. I think we definitely want our XRP. I want that on the 1 hour. So I love that little bit of resistance coming through here. And this is obviously the one that goes slower than the others. So I'm going to check that out there. Probably more interesting in the crypto markets and the currency market. The stock market right now. But we will have... Oh, the dollar. Look at the dollar. No! US dollar 91.55. Oh, that's actually a pretty big move going on here. Well, this is definitely going to be pushing crypto and possibly even getting that that kind of buyback into gold going on. Maybe we'll leave it on the US dollar. Poor US dollar. The Federal Reserve hates you. Just wants you to go down to 0. So new low here coming in with the US dollar. Mano, sorry. Yes, Tesla has been covered. We talked about it. Hit the 600, obviously looking at a 602, 603 open. Very key zone there for Tesla. Definitely keep abreast of it. We're only 22 minutes away from the market open. I appreciate everyone that's come out. We've had a very consistent audience today for the couple of hours we've been streaming. It's all been about crypto this morning. Dollar index, crypto, gold, more so than the stocks right now. But we have seen Moderna move very heavily with its push to get approval on its vaccine. Bitcoin may struggle. Let's see if it gets up to the 19.5. I'd love to see that just come through with the US traders getting in. $92 was the big zone for the dollar index. Absolutely buzz. RIP, we've covered gold a whole bunch. If you go through to the start of the stream, we covered it in great detail. Still very relevant to now. ETH back over the 600. Yep. ETH should have some pretty nice runs in it. I'm looking at XRP down here. I want to see XRP crack above this level. Show us that there's bull across the board. I also will load up CoinMarketCap quickly. Let's have a look at some of these crosses. So big moves across these ones. Chainlink, a new one that's kind of come through over the last couple of years. Litecoin actually struggling here a bit. The thing that I like about crypto, I find funny, is that you see this one move, this one move, this one often just hover. And then all of a sudden you see this one and these others start boosting a little bit after. Now I can't tell you exactly what the time is after, but they certainly do like to boost after that point. Oh, my mate's going to be happy. Stellar. Whew. Oh, yeah, he's going to be happy. That is sweet for him. He knows who he is. He's probably watching right now. Man, he is. Yeah, he loves his Stellar. Got a request here for Riot blockchain. I don't know much about this one, but 450, it likes that, doesn't it? Resistance, heaps of resistance over here. When it goes, it goes. 450. I mean, basically it's in an uptrend. We've broken all the previous resistances. We hit 750, which isn't particularly anything that interests me too much. 450 is crazy. So no wonder it busted through there. Yeah, it looks pretty similar to the others. I like the technicals that have been happening on these other ones quite a lot more. So dollar index found that 91.50, bit of buying pressure coming through there into the market. What's US oil doing? US oil now coming back down. XRP coming back down. Go back to our markets quickly here. 36, 34, 12,200 kind of 80 zone, and Dow down a little bit. Set this to Bitcoin. I'll use the Oanda data here. So dollar index is probably the one that you want to be watching. Close under 91.55 will signal a huge amount of further selling. If it holds here and bounces, obviously that was a full-on stop hunt. Notice it makes that light little bit of a low, takes out the stops. So 1:12 a.m. right now. It's only about well, not many minutes at all now to the 1:30. Mr. Maggot says, Tom, is Nikola dying? I think we went to look at Nikola before, which we didn't do. I thought it was dying. But it keeps coming back. It resurges from the death. Actually, it's coming back to a technical, you would think, buy, but look at this gap. 20% down. Oh, I hate this stock. I hate this stock so much. 1750 is this level here. 1750 is the last level of bull pressure, and you got to think if it doesn't get held up again by this zone, boy oh boy, it's going to be bad for the bulls here. But this stock, it's been I guess I've never said I like this one. I didn't like it here. I didn't like it here. I certainly didn't like it. I think it was here and here when you found out all that extra bits of news. But yeah, look, 1750, there's support around that area. We're trading at a 22. It should have really held this area. You had two moving averages, the 20 and the 50, but that's the nature. I mean, I don't know what the hell news has come out, but it's not good for it, that's for sure. So Nikola, 1750 for you bulls. Hopefully you can hold that level, or hold, of course, above here. But I'll make it no secret that I am not a fan of a stock that does this. Off whatever the hell that is. Very little trade all the way up. I remember when every single YouTube video I saw was like, buy Nikola, and it had like rocket ships on it. And now it's probably, they don't want to talk about that. They probably deleted those videos. Jason says, bad news with GM and Nikola this morning. Well, that makes sense. Does that mean GM pulled out? Dividend Cake says, Goldman Sachs sees Euro US dollar at 125 next year. I tend to agree. It'll be back over the 120, 125. But when Goldman say something, that's usually not that great. Usually it goes the opposite way whenever Goldman come out. Erica says, good morning. Did you address Microsoft and SNE? We didn't look at Microsoft, but Microsoft remains pretty similar to what we had last week for Microsoft. So basically, we're still stuck in a range. 200's been heavy buying. And then other than that, we just had like kind of these random 230 and these 225s. So I'm just drawing 225 as a resistance. When it closes above there, it won't care about the 230. It'll probably keep going. And 200's been a very big buying support. Now, guys, I may have to do a quick wrap up here, just because I noticed it's about 1:16. I know we're only 14 minutes away from the market open, but I like to stay open for the market open, but we're not going to see that much interestingness, I think, coming into it. We've got our big moves in crypto. We've done 2 and a bit hours of pretty big analysis here. I appreciate everyone coming out and going through everything, and obviously we've done some good analysis for the week ahead on some of these stocks. But I don't think this is going to be like a firecracker kind of first hour. And I must admit, I'm pretty wrecked. It was a big day of celebration for my birthday, and I'm just like, eh. So for me, keep looking at the cryptos. Just remember, we just hit some key little bits of resistances here, so you might see some pullback. Dollar index, keep watching these zones, 91.55. If it keeps bulling off this area, that may have been a little bit of a kind of like trap set early. So look for closes below that zone. Very important for your little cryptos as well in terms of seeing them hit all-time highs very soon. Still relatively bullish across the board there on those, and we believe they could certainly go higher. For today's market, I'm looking at sectors. I'd like to see what the consumer discretionary sector does and see how that holds up. And other than that, I guess we'll notice the close, and we'll make a video tomorrow talking about all of it. I like this one. Suj says Goldman is not great. And he says they don't even like gold. Well, if you don't like what's in your name, that's not good. I like FX, by the way. So remember, subscribe to FX Evolution if you enjoyed it. We do have a 50% off Cyber Monday deal, which will be ending very soon on our technical analysis course. It's our masterclass. If you're interested in what you see here and you want to learn more and have a really great structure around it, you can do so. You also get 3 months access to our private Discord community, which has some amazing, cool traders in it. And I'll announce it right now. We're putting 20K in the pot. So basically what that means is that we're going to put 20,000 in a trading account. The community trades it. And then at the end of the month, the person that I guess contributes the most to that system and to investing in it gets to keep whatever the profit is. So we're going to be doing 20,000 as of, I think, January next year. We don't want to put it in during Christmas because I don't like it when people trade from about 20th of December to about the 10th of Jan. There's weird things that go on then, guys. Very crazy spike, especially in currency. But yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a great place to learn, and definitely check it out if you're interested. Open the bottle of champagne. It's a bit late for me, man. 1:18. I'd love to, though. All right. No worries. Thanks very much, guys. We will see you next Monday live. And, of course, otherwise, I'll see you in the Discord community, or I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Appreciate the support. As always, everybody, you guys are the best. There is no doubt.